Welcome back to this already, the final segment of today's Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I'm going to spend some time with my friend Benjamin Jurken, and I tell you, I love what he does. I tell you, this whole idea of outsourcing makes a lot of sense as long as you do it in a sensible way, and the folks there at the ABC Group, LLC, they help people do just that. Benjamin, as always, glad to have you on the program. Tell us a little bit more about the ABC Group, and then introduce to us your guest today that you have as our contributor, to the Price of Business.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me today, Kevin.
You bet.
To answer your question, the ABC Group is a supply chain and sales channel management firm focused on assisting SMEs conduct business in mainland China. We offer both advisory and commercial services, depending on our clients' needs and previous experiences. We currently have approximately 30 clients across the U.S. and typically engage with manufacturers with annual sales between 50 and 250 million, though we do have a few larger publicly traded clients as well. One of the most valuable assets we provide is access to on-the-ground personnel based out of our Guangzhou office, which allows clients the ability to create a physical presence in the region at a fraction of the cost it would otherwise take to open and staff a foreign outpost.
Awesome.
That said, today I have the pleasure of introducing Richard Mojica from Miller and Chevalier. Richard's practice is focused on advising companies on how to comply with the laws applicable to the importation of merchandise in the United States.
Very good.
In addition to counseling on the nuts and bolts of customs law, he has helped companies optimize their global supply chains through the use of duty-saving programs and techniques. Richard is a former U.S. Customs headquarters attorney and U.S. delegate to the World Customs Organization of Belgium. Prior to joining Miller and Chevalier, Richard was affiliated with a multinational law firm for several years. With his experience, I believe Richard has a unique and particularly qualified perspective on the current state of international trade. So with that, good morning, Richard.
Good morning, and thanks for the kind introduction, Benjamin. I'm pleased to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on. That was a pretty substantial elevator speech done on your behalf. But was there anything that you might have missed, that Benjamin might have missed, rather, that you'd like the listener to know about your firm real quick?
Absolutely, yeah. We're Miller and Chevalier is a Washington, D.C.-based firm founded in 1920 that's focused on areas that interact with the federal government. One of them is international trade, and that's a category that includes customs, my area of expertise, export controls and sanctions, and trade policy. Very
good. Go ahead there, Benjamin.
Sure. I guess with so many services that you offer to clients, I was wondering if you could give us a percentage that is actively currently importing and exporting, and how many markets your clients are typically conducting business in.
Sure. The vast majority of our clients both import and export. I'd like to take just a quick step back to say that our client base is global, and it ranges from startups to Fortune 50 companies, and it cuts across a variety of industries, from high tech to oil and gas to consumer goods. So most of these companies both import and export around the world. Many of which are multinational corporations active in multiple markets worldwide. And as a result, most of their trade issues concern more than one country.
Yeah.
So with such a diverse and globally active client base, I could see the challenges one would face in continually monitoring and analyzing the effects of new and evolving trade agreements. That said, in researching your firm, I noticed that your practice offers supply chain optimization for importers. Could you describe your approach to optimizing client supply chain and the tools at your disposal?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And let me start by saying that the way we help companies optimize their supply chain is by counseling on the use of duty savings programs and techniques. One way we do that is by helping companies qualify their products for duty-free treatment under free trade agreements like NAFTA.
Okay.
And where we add value there is by helping companies make strategic supply chain planning decisions, such as where to source a certain raw material or where to perform a particular manufacturing step. And in addition to free trade agreements, which is one of the, I guess, most commonly talked about duty savings programs, there are others which can result in important duty savings.
Yeah.
One of them is a program called duty drawback. And through duty drawback, a company can recover up to 99% of the duties collected at the time of importation if that merchandise is subsequently exported.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question about, how do you engage, because you're essentially doing international law, correct?
That's right.
How do you, that's got to be kind of a dicey field. You got to have a certain level of expertise with a lot of different countries in the way they engage with the law. Talk a little bit about the nuances of that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we have a network of correspondent firms around the world who, like us, are boutique firms specialized in trade law. So what we do is we offer a one-stop shop for corporations with trade-related issues around the world. My area of expertise and experience is with U.S. customs law. So if a company comes to us and says we have this we want to know the importing requirements for this particular product around the world, and we have 15 jurisdictions in mind. Well, what we do is I would provide the U.S. piece, and then coordinate with my colleagues around the world to prepare a single deliverable for this company and make it a one-stop shop. Hey,
by the way, Richard, what is your website, real quick?
Sure, it's www.millerchevalier.com.
Miller Chevalier. Benjamin, this is the last question we have time for. Please keep it short. Time goes fast when you're having fun. This is a great topic. Go ahead, Benjamin. Sure. By the way, Benjamin can be found at the abcgroupllc.com. Your last question.
Sure, and Richard, since you do have such a pulse on global trade, I was wondering if you could just briefly share your thoughts on the competitive landscape of some of the most notable hot markets out there, and to what extent reshoring is accurate, if at all, on a macro level.
Sure. That's a great topic. Reshoring is a great topic, and U.S. manufacturing is staging a comeback in the United States. But based on what we're hearing from our clients, perhaps a more accurate term is nearshoring, given that companies are cutting back in China, and they're headed back to countries like Mexico and Latin American countries as well. So that has become another hot market. And one thing I'd like to say about that is that one point that is often overlooked and in the nearshoring discussion is that China remains a hot consumer market, to your point. So even if as companies stop producing merchandise for export in China, what I'm hearing is that they will retool those factories to service the domestic market in China.
Hey, gentlemen, great subject, very timely. Benjamin Jurken and Richard Mojica, thanks to both of you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, best content here, including this interview, will be found over there at usdatareview.com. I am Kevin Price. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you spend it wisely on this station.